Hi, my name is Brian Barnes and I'm an executive moderator at Mark Research. Prior to becoming a moderator, I worked for many years in the CPG space as a brand manager. And it was extremely important to us in everything that we did to remain grounded in consumer understanding. I can remember many times in a meeting when everybody would be getting off track and we would say, okay, now what do we know about this consumer? We know this, we know this. And that was all from research. That was from consumer understanding, and that's extremely powerful to be able to pull up that understanding in a meeting or in a discussion. One of the things that I have a special appreciation for is knowing how your brand is situated in the hearts and minds of consumers at any given point in time, both in absolute and relative terms. Well, here at Mark Research we do a ton of restaurant work and retail work, certainly on the quant side, but also on the qualitative side. One of the most effective approaches in the restaurant and retail space is a mixed methodology approach or a hybrid approach. You can take different online methodologies and put those together to leverage the strengths of the different methodologies. You can combine online methodologies and traditional methodologies. A good example of a study that we've done in the restaurant space recently is we combined in-store, in-person ethnographies, or essentially shop-alongs in a restaurant environment where we followed along with the customer from the moment they walked in the door to placing their order for their food till they received their food until they finished their meal. And it really gives you a great depth of insight and immediacy of insight. We combined that with online bulletin boards to give us the breadth of insight and the geographic reach to get a geographic cross-section of the customers of this restaurant chain. And it really provided a comprehensive picture for them and what they were trying to understand. One of the very first categories that I worked in was animal health, and I didn't set out to do work in animal health, but that was my first study was with veterinarians. There's lots of different approaches that you can take in that space. Sometimes one-on-ones make sense, sometimes group work makes sense. One of the things I learned right away that was very interesting was, in some ways it was easier to interview veterinarians than it was consumers because, first of all, it's a defined subject matter, there's defined terminology, but not only that, veterinary professionals have a desire to demonstrate their knowledge and expertise in front of their peers. So it really draws out the insights, and that really probably applies to all kinds of medical professionals. I've worked with swine vets, I've interviewed swine producers, I've interviewed equine vets, companion animal vets, and certainly pet owners. I'm a pet owner myself, and to this day I really love doing animal health work. Actually, one of the coolest things that we ever did is we had a client who had a desire to promote greater interaction between internal team members and direct interaction with customers. They wanted to build that into the research process. So what we did is we actually paired up an internal team representative from a cross-functional area in the company with a respondent at the door when they came into the room. So everybody was paired up in twos. And throughout the discussion, we would pair them off and have them do exercises and interview each other and then report back to the group on what they discussed. Well, a couple of interesting things about this is, first of all, because we had the client representative sort of report on what the customer said, with the customer sitting right there, there was a lot of pressure to really listen intensely and to report back accurately. And we even empowered the respondents to correct or to add information if something was left out. The other thing about this is that one of the great challenges in any study is to get the insights penetrated into the organization and sort of diffused throughout the organization. And because there were so many client-side representatives involved in this, it really facilitated that process of getting the insights broadly diffused into the organization.